First things first, gotta get this heater going, about 30 degrees outside. One of the most important parts of any garage gym. Give you guys a quick look around the space. Car in the garage. Let's go. All right guys, taking you through a full body workout today with a heavy upper body focus. I hit legs yesterday, so legs are pretty sore. So focusing mostly on the upper body. However, some of these exercises will hit the entire body technically, but again, heavy upper body focus. We're gonna be focusing on building muscle mostly, but also building some functional strength and stability, as well as torching calories and keeping that heart rate pretty high. So we're using a horizontal loading structure, which means we're gonna be hitting all sets and reps of one exercise before moving on to the next exercise. We're gonna hit 3 sets of each exercise, resting 90 seconds in between sets. So this 90 seconds rest is still gonna allow us to recover to some extent so that we can push some pretty heavy weight to stimulate growth while also keeping that heart rate pretty high. So without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, let's get into our warm-up. So we're gonna hit the entire body with our first exercise, which is the walkout. So we're standing tall, walking it out to the high plank position, shoulders over the wrists, squeeze the core, walk back up, keeping those legs as straight as possible to stretch out the hamstrings, stand tall, squeeze your glutes at the top. That's 1 rep. We're hitting 10 total reps. It's a great, and one of my favorite exercises to warm up the entire body and get the blood flowing. Next up, we have the band pass through for 20 reps. So I want you using a light resistance band with this exercise. Pull tension into the band. So pull that band apart and keep your arms totally straight throughout the entire range of motion. Next up, scapular pull-ups, 20 reps. We're focusing on getting the upper back warmed up, more specifically some of the shoulder girdle and those mid traps. So we're gonna dead hang from our pull-up bar. Arms stay completely straight throughout this exercise. All you're gonna do in that dead hang position is pull up and back. I want you to squeeze the mid traps and that upper back at the top for 1 second, and then lower back down with control. Next up, we have the prone W lift plus press for 10 reps. So we're continuing to get that upper back and shoulder girdle fired up, which is super important for all of our pulling and pressing movements. So we're lying on our stomach in the prone position. Forehead is gonna remain on the ground throughout this. Arms are gonna create a W. We're gonna engage our glutes, engage the back, just lift the arms up with the upper back, squeeze, press all the way out, come back to the W position, and then lower back down with control. We're hitting 10 total reps. And we have our last warm-up exercise, getting the entire body warmed up, inchworm push-ups for 10 reps. So we're focusing on nice controlled push-up, keeping the legs as straight as possible and inching those feet in as far as we can, really stretching out the hamstrings and lower back, hitting 10 total reps. Let's go. Exercise 1, we have a kneeling, split stance, single arm, clean to press, 6 reps per side, 3 total sets, 90 seconds rest in between sets. I want you guys going as heavy as possible while being able to maintain excellent technique. So by the time you get to that 4th and 5th rep on each set, you should be getting very close to failure while still being able to perform it with really proper and clean form. So it's a strength and power exercise. It's kind of a full body movement. There's definitely some lower body stability that needs to take place to stabilize the exercise, as well as some upper body explosive power, core strength, and of course, shoulder. So we're putting the strength and power movement at the beginning of the workout when we are freshest. So 6 total reps on each side. Make sure you guys are warming up before you get into your first working set. So at least 3 warm-up sets, gradually increasing the weight each warm-up set before you start your working sets. I'm using 62 pounds for my working sets. Here we go, 6 reps per side. Let's get to work. So explosive off the floor, brace the core, press overhead. Switching sides, minimal rest in between sides. Let's go. One more. Exercise number 2, dumbbell bench rows, 10 reps, 3 sets, 90 seconds rest in between sets. So targeting the lats and the mid back with this movement. Since we're coming from a stability focused power and strength exercise in exercise number 1, I want to remove all stability required. So I'm using the bench row. It's also one of my favorite movements. It allows me to really isolate the back and really push the weight. So you guys do not need to do several warm-up sets. We should be pretty warm after that first exercise. So I did 2 warm-up sets, started at 55 pounds, then went to 75 pounds. Now I'm starting my first working set at 90 pounds. A couple key technique points to get the most out of this movement. I want a 1 second pause in this fully stretched position. Elbows tight to the body on the row, slight arch at the top to engage that back just a little bit more, squeezing the lats for a second, and then lowering slowly back down to that fully stretched position. First set, 10 reps. Let's go. Exercise number 3, dumbbell incline bench press with a 2 second pause for 8 reps. 3 total sets, 90 seconds rest in between sets. So we're coming off a back focus exercise, so we're gonna be hitting opposing muscle groups to give the back a little bit of a break because we have back coming up next. So now we're focusing on chest, anterior delts, and triceps with the incline press. This is not gonna be on a high incline, it's gonna be on a little bit of a lower incline. So targeting a little bit of that upper chest, putting the bench on an incline. You do not need a ton of warm-up sets. You should be very warm at this point during the workout. I did 1 warm-up set at 65 pounds. I'm gonna start my first working set at 80 pounds. This is actually my 3rd set because I just keep stumbling on my words. I just kind of suck at talking on camera. So it's my 3rd attempt. So it's a final set. I gotta get it right with this one. Couple of technique points before we get into it. As we lie back onto the bench, I want those shoulder blades pressed into the bench and lats engaged. Elbows at a 45-degree angle as we lower down and as we press up. So I don't want your arms all the way out here. I don't want them all the way tight to the body, 45-degree angle. We're gonna lower down slowly to that fully stretched position. Pause for 2 seconds, keeping tension in the chest and shoulders. Press back up explosively, squeezing the chest at the top, then lowering right back down into our next rep. 8 total reps, 80 pounds. Let's go. Two more. Last one. Exercise number 4, we're targeting the back, more specifically the lats, and of course some biceps with the close grip neutral pull-up with a 4-second eccentric. So we're going as many reps as possible. So we're going to complete failure with this movement. So I choose, generally speaking, body weight movements or movements with very light weight to go to complete failure because it's way safer as opposed to using a really heavy weighted movement going to failure. So 3 total sets, still keeping that 90 seconds rest in between sets. So you guys are gonna see after that first set, the 2nd and 3rd sets are gonna get very, very challenging. You're not gonna get a ton of reps with this movement, but we're gonna keep a ton of time under tension on the back and the biceps. So close grip, if you guys don't have a close grip, just a regular pull-up is fine. So we're gonna focus on keeping those elbows nice and tight to the body when we pull up. If you guys wanna target more of that mid-back, keep those elbows flared out a bit. So we're squeezing, engaging the lats at the top. slowly lowering back down with control to that fully stretched position, and then right back up. So notice I'm trying to drive my chest towards the bar. I'm not so much focused on bringing my chin towards the bar. Think about bringing your chest towards the bar. I don't even know how many reps that is. Still got a little more in the tank. Getting close to failure, maybe one more. And we're done. Exercise number 5, dumbbell hollow body bench press for 10 reps, 3 sets, 90 seconds rest in between sets. So coming off the back focus exercise, we're targeting opposing muscle groups, hitting the chest, shoulders, triceps with a heavy emphasis on the core. While the core does play a huge role in this exercise, you should still be able to lift pretty heavy with this movement to really target and pump out the chest, shoulders, and triceps. You do not need a ton of warm-up sets, maybe one warm-up set before getting into your first working set. I'm gonna be using 80 pounders for my working set, so the same weight that I use for my incline press. Before we get into that first working set, let's talk about technique. So first off, the hollow body position. Legs are gonna be totally locked out straight, feet together, toes pointed, quads flexed. Key point here, lower back pinned to the ground the entire time, upper back slightly off the ground, elbows at a 45, just like our incline presses. Get a full stretch in the pecs, press back up, squeezing your chest at the top. Now, if you need to modify, all you're gonna do is bend the knees. Still keep that lower back pinned, still gonna be targeting the core, still gonna get a core workout with this movement, but it's not quite as demanding on the lower back. So the more you bend your knees, the easier it'll be. The further you extend them out, the harder it's going to be. So pick a level of bend that works best for you, that allows you to keep your lower back pinned to the ground. Now, enough talking from me. Let's get into the first working set. 80 pounders. Let's go. Lower back pinned. Let's get it. Two more. One more. All right, guys, exercise 6, final exercise of the workout. We have the kettlebell push-up, deadlift, plus back lunge on each leg. 5 total reps, 3 sets, 90 seconds rest in between sets. So we finish off this workout with a more full body exercise with a heavy emphasis on the lower body and a heavy emphasis on conditioning. There's absolutely nowhere to hide with this movement. Now, we've gone through this entire workout, lifting heavy throughout. There should be a pretty high level of systematic fatigue, so we need to be careful on this final exercise. Still, we want to be lifting as heavy as possible while maintaining excellent technique throughout. So I hit 2 warm-up sets, gradually increasing the weight to get ready for my first working set at 53 pounds. Let's go. So we kick out, strong push-up, full stretch, jump the feet in, set the lats, stand tall, step back, lightly touch the back knee to the floor on each lunge to ensure a full range of motion. That is 1 rep, 5 total reps. Two more. Last rep. All right, team, hope you like that workout. Workouts like this one are a big part of my weekly training and are a big part of my functional method training series. Workouts that focus on building strength, building muscle, improving conditioning, all while building the body up, not just tearing it down at every single workout. So I strongly encourage you to try and get away from the idea that you have to completely crush yourself at every single workout. There's certainly a time and place for crushing ourselves. There's definitely a lot of therapy involved in doing that. But if you continue to train this way, you're gonna absolutely burn out and destroy your body in the process. My functional method training series consists of 3 different programs. Each program is 8 weeks long, so 24 total weeks of training. You guys can get free access to the functional method training series along with all of my other programs and the functional pump daily workouts by tapping the link in the description. If you guys do not like the app for any reason, all good, just cancel your subscription before the 7 days is up. So until the next workout, until the next video, I'll talk to you guys soon.